Tonight on News 5 Live, is there a light at the end of the tunnel where a shortage of pharmaceutical supplies in the public health sector is concerned? Minister Kevin Bernard met with the Nurses Association of Belize earlier today to address those concerns. Belize receives $2 million from Cabe for hurricane support, and a foul robbery on Mahogany Street. We'll show you 4 suspects who were nabbed in the act of holding up a Chinese grocery store. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
I will be there. Thank you so much.
Why are you so excited?
Let me tell you a secret. I just got off the phone with Santa.
Hi, Santa. For Christmas, I want a pea shooter, a football. iPhone and a makeup for Christmas.
Oh, Ramon, 1 second.
We just learned that Santa's phone number has just been revealed. The number is 227-7132. Children all over.
I'm sorry, Dad. I shared Santa's phone number.
Welcome to Builders Hardware. end of the year mega sale where you can certainly get what you are looking for.
That's right, we're cutting costs and slashing prices across the store.
This sale starts from October 15th until the end of the year.
Enough time for you to plan, shop safely, and save some money.
We're having a huge discount, 20% on paint and 30% and more on selected items, just for you.
Come and visit us in Belmopan. We have quality, variety, quantity, and service with a smile.
Builders Hardware, end of the year mega sale from October 15th to the end of December. We think our customers are awesome.
Builders who build with a passion and skill. Go to Builders Hardware.
Hello, this is the Inter-Office Basketball League office. How may I help?
This is the Central Health Customs basketball team. We saw on breaking news the tough enough team going into Mappe is getting their ring finger done. Well, we would like for you to deliver one message to the Puffy Puff basketball team. Tell them that the only ring they will receive, that's suffering come Friday night.
Let's go.
The finals is here! The finals is here! This Friday, 8 p.m. at the Belize Civic Center is the Benny's Inter-Office Basketball League, game 1 of the best of 3 series. Rico Black and his undefeated tough enough team, led by Francis Arana, Ian Renee, and Jamal Kelly, battling against the young and upstart Central Health Customs, who will answer with the #1 point guard in Belize, who dropped another 30 points on the Coast Guard, Glency Coupe Lopez, alongside Akeem Evans and Stephen Wade, who will be crowned the IBL champions. This is as big as it gets. This Friday night, November 18, at the Belize Civic Center, beginning at 8 p.m. sharp. Tough Enough Tours versus Central Health Customs. Who will bling the ring? Bring out the entire family for the IBL finals, y'all!
Just another level!
Sponsors: Racinas Imports, JMW Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Posh and Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, November 16th. I am Sabrina Daly. Minister of Health and Wellness Kevin Bernard met with the Nurses Association of Belize earlier today to address a number of issues pertaining to the shortage of pharmaceuticals in the public health sector. The long overdue engagement comes in the wake of serious concerns and complaints that have been shared by nurses, doctors, and hospital staff, including those who are employed at the KHMH. The scarcity of medicinal drugs has affected the overall quality of healthcare services being offered at public facilities across the country, and the Ministry of Health and Wellness has been facing harsh criticisms from its stakeholders. The meeting has allowed for the creation of a timeline during which several goals have been established to ensure that the supply of pharmaceuticals remain constant going forward. This afternoon, Minister Bernard spoke with the media and shared the following.
It was a very fruitful meeting, I can say. What they did was that we brought the concerns from the various regions, including KHMH. We were able to clarify in many cases, in many instances, some of the lists that they brought in terms of what they deemed were sharp, medication that was sharp. We also realized during the discussions that there is a gap in the communication within the regions between the pharmacy unit and the nurses in terms of them being properly informed of what is available at the pharmacy or what is not available in country. So we were able to, at the same time, identify those products or those items that are still pending for delivery in country. As you are aware, the tenders were signed way back in late August. We had some delays in terms of shipping delays. Hurricane Lisa and the previous hurricane that hit Florida also created some further delays for supplies. Now, a lot of these things, I'm not saying this to find excuses, but I'm saying that while those issues caused delays, there were suppliers in the country who flew in many urgent medication in order for us to be able to ship across the country, including those at KTMH. So during the discussion, we had set out some clear goals. One of them being that one, we will have a follow-up meeting with the Nurse Association in January. Two, that we want to ensure that with the new timeline that we have put in for ourselves internally at the ministry, that we want to ensure that we have received all our supplies in country, so that when we go through the new tender cycle, which we are working on right now, forecasting is being done for us, so that we could put together within the budget cycle a proper, detailed listing of pharmaceutical and medical supplies that will be required for us in the next fiscal year.
According to Bernard, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is seeking permission from Cabinet to proceed with expediting the tendering process to avoid unwanted delays. He also pointed out that the meeting that was held earlier today had nothing to do with a letter that was purportedly sent out last week, issuing an ultimatum to the minister to meet with a specific group of nurses.
As I pointed out to the association today, that while we had to sign tenders in August, that's not what the ministry wants to do. We have taken to Cabinet approval for us to speed up that process. So in the next tender cycle, so within this cycle here, we have already missed the due date that we really would have wanted, which is June. We want to ensure that in June of every year, we set out the call for forecasts within the various regions, do the proper analysis, then send out the bids, so that by the time December comes and all that other process is done, we are able to then sign contracts by December. It falls within the budget year, it falls within the new budget cycle, so at the same time we are able to properly and don't have to go back to the National Assembly seeking supplementary after supplementary, unless there's a real pandemic that as was the case in the past 2 years. The detailed meeting for today had nothing to do with a letter that was signed by one or not. I don't know if it was even signed, because I have not received an official hard copy letter that was posted on social media with the 3 letterhead of the different groups that call the coalition. It was obvious that one individual has been acting unilaterally on his own. They made that absolutely clear, that is not the purview of the Nursing Association of Belize, and their sole issue that they had and they want to address was the issue of the shortages, which create frustrations to our nurses, which at the same time, we understand the staffing gaps. We understand, and we also were able to highlight to the Nursing Association of Belize the fact that out of the 101 posts that we created this year, in this fiscal year, 96 of those has been filled.
The Central American Bank for Economic Integration, CABE, has signed an agreement with the Briceño administration to donate $2 million Belize dollars to assist with humanitarian support in the wake of Hurricane Lisa. As a gesture of solidarity with Belize, Cabey's board of directors approved the sum to aid the country in its response to damages caused by the intensity of the severe weather system that made landfall in Belize district on November 2nd. The Ministry of Economic Development and the Belize Bureau of Standards are collaborating to standardize the honey industry in Belize. Through a memorandum of understanding, the Belize Bureau of Standards will be collecting data to use benchmarks on how the honey value chain, from production to consumer, can be regulated to ensure quality. The quality standards and metrology developed will be utilized to standardize 7 other commodities produced in Belize. Here is more from Tuesday's MOU signing ceremony between both parties.
I have no doubt that this project will be a success. I can see the commitments and the appetite from the Belize Bureau of Standards to want to be part of great things in Belize. As small as this initiative may be, it is one that, in my eyes, is a huge one. And I will give you 2 reasons why. One, because we are working with farmers that are practically underprivileged, who were neglected, who were abandoned for many years. And that will give us the opportunity of, 1, to increase the human capital in producers that know how to produce, on a population that is hardworking, and on a population that has an appetite to learn and to improve their living of standards. And secondly, I see that there will be that is a huge thing, that what we are doing is because it's the first one, as you have said it.
For us, the importance of this is that we are trying to embed standards at the national level, and this is a grand opportunity for us to show how standards, how quality systems are important in the value chain, so that the production of goods from start to finish ensures that quality systems are part and parcel of production. Right now, standards is not driving production. It is the other way around. And so this is a grand opportunity, as I mentioned.
The Ministry of Economic Development also signed a memorandum of understanding with the National Meteorological Service of Belize for the development of a climate information system. The system will provide key information to small farmers to advise their planning and minimize loss. Farmers will be able to access this data through a mobile application. Dr. Osman Martinez, the CEO at the Ministry of Economic Development, gave further details.
I am excited because I am in one of my interviews, I said we need to introduce science and technology to the agro-productive sector. And today we are moving into science and also technology. Again, just like during hurricane time, we need information. The agro-productive sector also needs information. And to have climate-related information in times of high impacts of climate change that we're seeing in our nation, and not only in our nation, but throughout the whole earth, the globe, the world, it is given us, we will need to have all the necessary information to be more effective in terms of producing and to be able to produce what we consume. So, in other words, food security. Secondly, to move to an app. It's not only science and technology, but now we are moving to the digital time, innovation time. And for the farmers to be able to hold an app and to be able to receive first-hand information, instant information, this is critical for our farmers.
As I sit here with you as a representative from the National Meteorological Service, and as such I must emphasize how significant this occasion is for our department, or for this department. I believe it was about the year 2019, more or less, that Mr. Serrano reached out to us at the National Meteorological Service, indicating that there was a possibility that we can collaborate on a project through the Resilient Rural Beliefs Program. As a department that is always seeking avenues for collaboration with all our stakeholders, but especially with the agricultural sector, we, of course, were excited about this opportunity and became very engaged in the process.
Coming up, police foil midday robbery at a Belize City supermarket.
The festive, soulful, rhythmic, and stimulating celebration of Garifuna's Settlement Day 2022 follows a not-so-festive natural disaster, one that was especially painful for Belize City. But guess what? Aubu, Amuru Nu, Hagaburu Bay, Garinago, Awasera Meme, Wama Lao. I for you, you for me, is the Garifuna way. Let us continue to move forward. See, this year's celebratory theme is not only inspiring, but also timely, as it's the principle that is right now allowing Belize City to bounce back and move forward. Municipalities from across Belize, brothers, sisters, neighbors, friends, and strangers are joining hands to restore life and provide a safe refuge for most of those displaced by the recent disaster. In some ways, this mirrors the Garifuna story that brought this rich, indispensable group to our southern coast, and one that has prevailed in the face of insurmountable struggles, time and time again. Belize's Garinago have shown how perseverance can transform into glory, how authenticity can establish heritage, how togetherness can bring about upliftment, and how beautiful life can be when one insists on dancing to the beat of their own drums. Without a doubt, the Garifuna have made an indelible mark in the jewel's treasured story and continue to produce champions along Belize's developmental journey. From that, and for everything Garifuna, the food, the music, the history, the heritage, and the people, the entire team at the Belize City Council wishes all a most happy Garifuna Settlement Day. Aubu, Amuru Nu, Hagaburu Bay, Garinago, Awansera Meme, Wama Lao. I for you, you for me, is the Garifuna way. Let us continue to move forward.
Scratch and Win would like to announce the launch of one new game loaded with new prizes. Your favorite game, the Loteria board game, is now a scratch game. La Chalupa, El Gallo, La Estrella. The new $3 ticket is called Loteria and has a top prize of $20,000. Ask your Scratch and Win agent for the new Loteria ticket to win up to $20,000.
The VEL 24/7 app just got even better with new features and an upgraded look. With this amazing app, you can know request for a payment extension or a payment arrangement, request to relocate your meter within your property, view your account credit rating, submit a claim. You can even download your bill right from our app. Remember, you can also manage multiple accounts, calculate your bill, process payments, request new service, activate or close an account, submit reports on outages, faults, or streetlight repairs, all from the Assistant feature. The BEL 24/7 app has even more new features just for you. Upgrade or download our BEL 24/7 app today.
Traditionally, society had looked to men to provide for their families' economic well-being.
to defend our nations and protect their families from harm. As human society evolves, so do our role in society. In today's world, we appreciate many more contributions that our men make to our society, the workplace, and the home. On International Men's Day, we acknowledge the traditional and evolving contributions of our Belizean men.
We encourage you to celebrate International Men's Day on November 19th under the theme Recognizing Belizean Men and Boys. This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Families and Children in collaboration with UNICEF.
Social Security, transforming service delivery. My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online application. With My Social Security, you can create your account, log in, and take control of your Social Security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement Social Security card for yourself, child, or dependent. Make appointments online and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information, tutorials, and guides. A complete 360 view of your Social Security information is coming soon, which includes a new employer portal for employers, businesses, and self-employed persons, contributions history and statements, all SSB benefits, medical portal for registered doctors, and fingerprint enrollment all in one place. Social Security at your fingertips. The significant enhancement of service delivery to you is here. My Social Security.
¿Calificas para la amnistía 2022? Esta es tu oportunidad de averiguarlo. Usted califica si es registrado como solicitante de asilo en el Departamento de Refugiados antes del 31 de marzo de 2020, residiendo en Belice antes del 31 de diciembre de 2016. ¿Tienes hijos nacidos en Belice el o antes del 31 de diciembre 2021? Completó su educación en Belice. Casado con un ciudadano de Belice por un año o más. Viviendo en unión libre con un ciudadano de Belice por 5 años o más. Referido por el Departamento de Servicios Humanos. Empleado remunerado en Belice durante 5 años. Para obtener más información y cómo presentar una solicitud, visita el sitio web www.immigration.gov.bz. Prepárate, el plazo de inscripción será del 2 de agosto al 30 de noviembre de 2022. Amnistía de Belice 2022. Continuemos construyendo Belice juntos.
Hola, disculpa por no llegar anoche. Lo siento. He estado hace tiempo con ganas de decirte algo. Últimamente estoy lidiando con mis problemas de salud mental.
I think if there was no stigma around mental health, I'd be more open about what I'm going through on the inside. And I don't know, maybe I'd find that other people in my life are actually going through the same thing.
Há alguns anos, comecei a contar para outras pessoas sobre minha ansiedade. E isso me ajudou a descobrir ótimas formas de como lidar com ela.
Soy muy sociable. Creo
que si hablara sobre mis problemas de la salud mental, simplemente no lo creerían. Por eso no hablo de ello.
Me preocupa que si la gente se enterara de mi salud mental, pensarán que soy débil. Por eso me aislé. Pero creo que voy a cambiar esto.
Are you looking for low-cost television advertising? Have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you to save valuable time and money. Call us today at 280-0013 or visit us at our offices on Coney Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5 Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
Great Belize Productions Channel 5, proud winner of 9 Caribbean Media Awards for 2021. Best Investigative Report, Best News Item, Best Coverage of People with Disabilities, Best Financial Literacy Journalism, Best Videographer, Best Television Commercial Spot, and the People's Choice Award, with 2 special mentions for Financial Literacy Journalism.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
Four men are in police custody tonight after a foiled robbery attempt at Lena Supermarket on Mahogany Street in Belize City. Just before midday, a group of armed thieves entered the supermarket and held up the business owners. While carrying out the crime, a police mobile that was in the area drove towards the store. One of the suspects saw the mobile approaching and fled the scene. His suspicious behavior alerted officers of the robbery in progress, and they immediately moved in to detain the suspects. Trapped inside the supermarket with police officers at the entrance, the suspects then sought to get rid of their weapons inside the store. Police officers made quick work of apprehending the 3 men on the scene of the crime. They then searched the store and found 3 firearms hidden in various locations. Those weapons were processed and taken into custody as evidence. A team of officers carried out a manhunt in the area for the 4th suspect. He was detained soon after. As of news time, there has been no official report from the police department. The dispute between the American Sugar Refinery, Belize Sugar Industries Limited, and the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association has gone on for the better part of a year, and perhaps almost for 2 years now. With no commercial agreement signed yet, both parties are also yet to agree on a mediator who will attempt to walk them through the stormy waters as the next crop is scheduled to open on December 19th. The association has accused the company of concealing figures of revenues and market sales, while the company says the association is being irrational with its demands of wanting more returns for the cane its members deliver to the mill. Today, the company's financial director, Sean Chavarria, gave us yet again their position.
The farmers, the association, as I mentioned, get these statements, right? These statements are audited. And so what we rely on is that the auditors have done their due diligence in reviewing all the revenues and all the costs associated with that. And that right is also being provided to them. And so the matter of the registry, really, I'm not sure what BSCFA is trying to portray, because we do our annual returns, right? I think what they are saying is that we have not published our director's report that we used to do. But that has no bearing on how farmers are paid, because farmers are paid based on the net trip value of from the sale of sugar and molasses, which is the revenue less the shipping expenses. Our 35% on how we spend that is then, within the confines of our operations, right? But in terms of what we need to report to the farmers, we do everything that we need to do that's in the commercial agreement.
There have been some demands that the BSCFA has made on ASR BSI to furnish financial documents that the company does not feel it is obliged to provide, since those documents do not fall within the ambit of the commercial agreement by which both parties operate with each other. But despite these fundamental differences and the discord that the two sides have, BSI's Director of Finance, Sean Chavarria, says there is hope that they can work through it and start on time with the next crop.
Initially, how we started these negotiations, right, that we wanted to continue with the existing agreement, right? They wanted to move to a 60-40 value share so that we move away from this structure. So we decided, okay, we are fully prepared to go and look at a 60-40 formula so that we move away from this negative conjecture. So we presented a proposal to the BSCFA achieving that objective. The main difference between our proposal and the BSCFA's is that when it comes to export direct consumption sugar, because they don't want a manufacturing allowance and to be sharing in that cost, right? Well then, all right, we take that, we assume all the risks, all the shipping costs related to that, and we value that sugar as raw sugar, right? Same 60-40, right? But they've also rejected that. So we're now at the point where really, I think the BSCFA keeps moving the goalposts. If BSCFA will want to see, say, for example, the invoices of the raw sugar shipments, right, what we sold, they can have that, because the biggest component of that is the sales contract.
What can't they have?
What they want, if it is a matter of, say, they want to get involved in our operations and see what is our cost within the mill, then that's a step beyond the commercial agreement, because then that is coming from our 35% share. But everything that's related to how we come up with a net trade value, that's part of the equation, and that's the commercial agreement stipulates what we need to provide. I think it's if everyone interested to have a crop, we certainly don't want to disadvantage farmers. We want farmers cane. And so we would just want to work with all associations and try to have a successful crop for the upcoming year.
The entrance of Tower Hill looks the same way it did 10 years ago. But the interior where sugarcane is milled and converted to sugar has undergone a series of upgrades between 2019 and 2022. Today, the company took the media on a tour of the facility to show how $60 million was invested in the acquisition of new and better processing equipment. News 5's Marian Ali was there and filed this report.
At first glance, everything inside the sprawling building that houses the BSI mill looks like simply enormous pieces of steel. but each plays a different part along that process. And several key components of the mill have been upgraded since 2019. The company's production superintendent, Nalberto Laiva, walked us through the various components of the upgrade step by step. A great part of the changes meant having to transition to stainless steel equipment for better quality sugar.
There is a stainless steel pipe, and most of our pipes in the whole manufacturing of process stream for the production of direct consumption sugar is made up of this type of material, stainless steel.
Okay, and again, if it weren't stainless, what would be the effects?
The effects would be, if it would be a different type of material, for example, a mild steel pipe, what would happen? You would have internal erosion of corroded material going along with the processed material. And that would then be a contamination.
Some of the machinery looks like what television shows us as parts of a ship's mechanical makeup.
Where we are standing is what we call the centrifugal floor, where we have the separation of sugar crystals from the mother liquor, which we term molasses. And over here we did some improvements. For example, we have this distribution pipe where we have the flow of masquit, and it is made up of stainless steel. What we have here in front of us is 2 storage tanks where we store material that will be used for the processing of direct consumption sugar.
The mill has 4 floors, and each one conducts a different process to making sugar.
We are in the centrifugal floor, and this is part of the expansion for the production of direct consumption sugar, right? What this does is centrifugal. It's separation of sugar crystals from the mother liquor, what we call molasses.
From the separation of the molasses, the process continues to yet another stage.
We have what we call the syrup heaters, which is an expansion that we did for the treatment and reheating of treated material for the production of direct consumption sugar. We are at the 3rd floor of the boiling house, and in this area we have many of the equipments that were installed for the production of direct consumption sugar. We have receivers, we have storage tanks, we have conveying system, and we also have syrup clarifiers.
On the 4th floor, however, the transition to stainless steel equipment is still in progress.
We have grain receivers, we have vacuum pans where the crystallization process takes place, which is the conversion of sucrose in liquid form to crystal form. Okay. To my left, we have some of the old vacuum pans, but they are still part of the direct consumption process stream, where we continue to do improvements in some of the components.
One of the final processes of sugar production involves cleaning the product.
To my back, we have the air belt that conveys the direct consumption sugar into the conditioning building to have it conditioned for packaging. Okay. In the conditioning building, we have dryers, dryer cooler, we have conveying belts, we have bucket elevators, we have silos, we have screeners, and in all the process train through these stages of conditioning, we have what we call metal detectors.
From there, the next step is the packaging of the finished product.
Once the sugar is conditioned for approximately 3 to 4 hours, then it is conveyed to the packaging area, where we can package from 1 ton to my right, which is to my right, and then we have 3 packaging areas for packaging plants for packaging of 50 kg, 25 kg, and we also have a line where we will start the packaging of 1, 2, and 5 kilograms. From here, it is conveyed through an overhead conveyor to the warehouses.
The warehouses store sugar in 1-ton sacks destined for Europe and 25 and 50 kilogram packages that go to the CARICOM market. The company's supply chain manager, L.D. Smith, said that the returns during the last crop were quite successful.
Just this past fiscal year, we managed to export 2,400 containers to different destinations. And this is all including to Europe and the CARICOM. This means two times more than previous years. We have a little bit more of how we do our loading process. We usually ship out about 100 containers per week, and we are always looking at ways to be more efficient.
And while it is still the close of the crop, the maintenance crew is busy restoring and preparing the parts of the mill that require such work.
This surrounding area is what we call the cane preparation area. What is being done here is getting equipments being serviced and being prepared for placing back in their train, in the milling train. He's preparing a roller for the mill. What he's doing is removing old welding on it, so that then they will place new welding on it for gravity on the rollers itself.
And what does that do?
What it do is it helps the mill to extract most of the cane juice on the cane.
The preparation and restoration of these huge pieces of machinery will continue until closer to next crop, which is set for December 19th. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
After the break, Sal Deaver continues to declare his innocence in the face of U.S. Department of State's designation.
My lights, yeah. Go to my lights, go to my lights. You gotta go to my lights, yeah. I wanna shine, 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 shine. I hit my lights cause that's my plan, 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 plan. My lights have your favorite brand, 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 brand. Just come with nothing in your hands, 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 hands. My lights, and it goes on and on and on. It goes on and on and on, yeah. I wanna celebrate with my lights, sing yeah.
With your loved ones while traveling is even more important during this global pandemic. With Digi, this is even easier and more convenient with our data roaming plans. Postpaid customers have instant access to mobile data when in 41 destinations worldwide. With 3 affordable plans, starting at only $28, it's easy to instantly connect via your favorite digital platform. To purchase your data roaming plan, contact Digi before your travel date. If you are already abroad, you can contact us via email at digihelp@livedigi.com or via WhatsApp at 608-8888. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com/digicel or visit a Digi store near you. You can roam, stay safe, and stay connected with Digi.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Friday and Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
The United Democratic Party remains in shambles, and yesterday's designation of former UDP Minister John Saldivar by the U.S. Department of State has sunken the party into further despair. Saldivar is considered to be one of the opposition leader's closest allies, even with a political career marred by the accusations of wrongdoings. The opposition says it will conduct its own investigation to determine if there is any credibility to the latest accusations against Saldivar. But there are those within the UDP already calling for Saldivar's expulsion. Notwithstanding those demanding his removal, the three-time Belmopan area representative is not one to back down in the face of the harshest of criticisms. He still has his eyes set on representing the people of Belmopan. News 5's Paul Lopez takes a closer look on all that has unfolded over the past 2 days. Here is that report.
On Tuesday, former Minister of National Security John Saldivar received what may likely be the biggest blow to his political career to date. The U.S. Department of State designated the three-time Belmopan era representative for, quote, involvement in significant corruption. And this is not the type of special designation where you are named to hold an official position or office. The U.S. has banned Saldivar and his immediate family members from entering the U.S. indefinitely. The Department of State claims that it has credible information that Saldivar was involved in significant corruption while serving as a minister, including accepting bribes in exchange for Belizean immigration documents and misusing a U.S.-donated Coast Guard boat for personal gain. But the disgraced politician is not taking these latest hits to what's left of his political career quietly. Saldivar has been on a social media tirade, floating a number of theories as to why the U.S. would make such a declaration against him. Yesterday, he questioned whether this is the makings of someone who wants him out of politics. This morning, he wrote about an unnamed car dealer who, during a visa interview with the U.S. Embassy, made claims about his purported involvement in corruption at the Immigration Department. And for today's curtain call, Saldivar insinuated that Prime Minister Miscellaneous' meeting with Secretary of State Antony Blinken back in September had something to do with the designation. All these speculations have left many believing that Saldivar is grabbing at straws in a last-ditch effort to maintain his credibility only weeks before he is to be challenged in a constituency convention in Belmopan. Luckily for him, he has the support of UDP party leader Moses Shine Barrow, at least for now. Barrow has declared his political ally innocent until proven guilty, while stating that the opposition has zero tolerance for corruption. Undoubtedly, this latest development has renewed the fervor of Saldivar's opponents from within his own party. They call themselves the UDP Coalition for Unity and Reform, and already their PR team has churned out an anti-UDP leadership advertisement.
Not accused of corruption. So let's stop that right bloody there.
Five-term UDP era representative Honorable Patrick Farber, who continues to serve his people diligently, is barred from seeking re-election as the UDP candidate in the Collet constituency. But John Birchman Saldivar, who the U.S. State Department has now designated for his involvement in significant corruption and interfering in public processes for his personal gain during his tenure in office, is not only running for office again, but running the party as a regional leader along with Shine and Perifin. What has our beloved United Democratic Party come to?
Not accused of corruption. So let's stop that right bloody there.
Now, the opposition leader did write saying that the opposition will take steps to gather all the facts presented by the U.S. State Department and the accused as they determine the way forward. So, it is left to be seen what their investigation will yield and if the UDP's zero-tolerance policy will bear any weight in the face of evidence. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
Taking you back to the launch of the People's Constitutional Commission earlier this week, the work has begun towards developing a renewed constitution of Belize. And as we reported, the PCC will be operating with full autonomy. But just how much independence will they have to carry out their duties? That's what we asked Prime Minister Briceño after Monday's ceremony. Here's how he responded.
We went at great lengths to be able to ensure that there's a separation between the government and the commission, and that the government is not represented in the commission. What we have is the political parties that are represented not only the PUP but the opposition, and we even found a way out to include the smaller third parties for them to collectively get representation. So we have ensured that we are giving them their budget. It's an independent budget, and they're going to manage their budget to ensure that we can try to be as independent as we possibly can. But in a small society like ours, somebody could find something to say, oh, the Prime Minister said something, or the Minister said something, or the opposition. But our objective is to try to be able to be as objective as possible and to try to stay away from the actual workings of the Commission.
The People's Constitutional Commission has 18 months to fulfill its obligations before making its submissions to the Prime Minister. But is 18 months enough time for the PCC to carry out the extensive consultations that are required for such a process? We also asked the Prime Minister if the entire process will be limited to those 18 months. Here is what he had to say.
I don't think we could talk about whether it's going to be additional time or not. I mean, obviously, if there is good reason for more additional time, we will. But we need to set a timeline, or else we're going to be talking forever and then nothing is going to happen. We want to ensure that there's a timeline where we can have the extensive discussions and consultations, and then some time to be able to put together the thoughts and ideas of the people. Now, it doesn't mean that what everybody says is going to be fit into a constitution. You take the ideas and the general feeling of the populace, and then you set it up within the framework of a constitution for it to be able to be presented to the people for adoption or not.
When we return, exploring water resiliency in climate change.
Aweri Garinago, Amage Koyos Distillery Limited. Happy Garifuna Settlement Day from Koyos Distillery Limited.
We live in a world where undernutrition and obesity can exist side by side in the same country, home, or even person. Foods high in sugars, salt, and/or unhealthy fats are leading to unhealthy diets and are one reason why children may not be growing healthily, while causing other people to develop overweight or obesity. The consumption of unhealthy diets is heavily influenced by marketing. Easy access is fueling this new nutrition reality, but thankfully, change towards a healthier future is possible. By having a sustainable healthy diet made up of a variety of foods that are safe for consumption, we can promote health and have better abilities to fight illness. How do we do this? Good nutrition for women during pregnancy and for children in their first 1,000 days of life, including breastfeeding, sets them up for healthy adulthood and future generations. We should eat more fresh fruits and vegetables, whole grains, pulses, nuts and seeds, and less sugary drinks and foods high in sugars, salt and unhealthy fats. The less of these foods we buy, the more the food industry will be encouraged to produce foods that contribute to healthy diets. We can also call on our leaders to make the right decisions so that every person, everywhere, can afford and access good nutrition. When people like you and me, industries and governments work together to make positive changes, we can create a healthier world.
Welcome to Design Depot. All in one place. Shop brands you know and trust, like Kohler. Welcome, GE Appliances.
Welcome,
Oran Windows.
Welcome,
Tiles from around the world.
welcome.
Sherwin-Williams Paint and Coatings. Visit us today at mile 3 on the Philip Golson Highway or call us at 223-3768. Design Depot. All in one place.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The Belize delegation also had a bilateral meeting with the recently appointed Executive Secretary of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, Simon Steele. The meeting was to address concerns from negotiators from AOSIS, CARICOM, and Belize about the language surrounding loss and damage, and to ensure that a fund is established for immediate access by countries severely impacted by climate change. Earlier today, the head of the delegation, Minister of Sustainable Development, Climate Change and Disaster Risk Management, Orlando Habet, shared with News 5 several aspects of the closed-door session.
The issue of loss and damage, the establishment of that fund, the mechanism that will govern that fund, the modality of how it will be implemented, and certainly who, if any, will be the entity that will be created to oversee the fund. So something like the GCF or the JEF. So there is concern that in the language that is being currently used, that it is not satisfactory to AOSIS, to CARICOM, and to Belize. And so we are trying to see how we can meet CARICOM ministers. We met yesterday as AOSIS ministers, or at least some, and hopefully we can meet as CARICOM ministers to discuss it and to see how we can have some more input. But one strategy will be for us is that we will have to meet with some of the other bigger countries who may be supportive or are supportive, so that we can speak to them, so they can speak to those other bigger ones who possibly right now are not supportive.
Okay, so maybe like a snafu in this whole loss and damage?
Well, certainly the language has to be appropriate, because you can't say, well, we're considering loss and damage. What we want to come out from at this COP is that a fund will be established. Whether or not we will work on the mechanism after and all the modality and everything else governing the fund from now to COP28 is a different matter. But what we want is that it is within the language that a fund will be established.
Today, inside the CARICOM Pavilion at COP27, the Barbados Water Authority and the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center signed off on the next step of a wastewater project for the island nation that seeks to link water, energy, and food security. It is a partnership that is supported by the Green Climate Fund, for which 5Cs is the direct access entity for the fund. Today, ministers from several CARICOM states joined in on the session. The intention is for the successful GCF project to be replicated in their respective countries. News 5's Dwayne Moody reports.
was quite literally a signature moment for the country of Barbados today as it completed another step to ensure unfettered access to potable water for its citizens through a Green Climate Fund supported project. Water is the single most important resource worldwide, but every year, drought and flooding, the effects of climate change, have been threatening its people. The island nation, unlike Belize, is a water-scarce country, and so, along with the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, the Water Sector Resilience for Sustainability in Barbados project was birthed.
The board of the Green Climate Fund approved a $50 million project to build the water resilience of Barbados. And so 2 days later, the Green Climate Fund and the 5 Cs signed what is called the Funding Activity Agreement that governs the implementation arrangements between the Green Climate Fund and the 5 Cs. But because the 5 Cs work in Barbados with the Barbados Water Authority, and they are responsible for some of the activities in the project, we now needed to sign an agreement with the Barbados Water Authority. The record for getting this done within the GCF has been 35 days. And today we have done it in fewer than 30 days. So what that means now is that we are getting to the point where we can now get the first disbursement of money, which is also going to break a record in terms of the time it takes between the approval of projects and actually getting money in the account so that the projects can start.
The project, which is repurposing wastewater, includes an energy component to ensure that even during disasters, residents will maintain access to clean water inside their homes. There is also an agricultural aspect that will ensure food security. The price tag is in the millions of US dollars by way of funding via the GCF, a grant from the 5 Cs, and investment by the Barbadian government.
We want to share the experience and the expertise that the 5 Cs has in delivering over $100 million US dollars for the government and people of Barbados. We can do this for Belize, we can do this for Jamaica, we can do this for many other CARICOM countries because all of us are experiencing very similar effects from climate change.
The Caribbean includes 8 of the top 30 countries battling water security, and projections are that the region will continue to get dry, with Belize seeing 35% less rainfall by as early as 2050. With the modality being used by the government of Barbados already green-lighted by the GCF, other CARICOM states are looking at the possibility of replicating some aspects of the project in their respective countries. Jamaica, Belize, and others have already been engaged, and while Belize has vast amounts of inland water sources, there is significant interest in the available opportunities.
For us in Belize, definitely it is something that we have to also address. Now, we have a different situation. It's a different country. We have large sources of water, especially from our mountains, our aquifers, and our watersheds. But we do encounter problems in certain areas. We have the northern part of the country, which suffers on a yearly basis with a lack of water. Naturally, they get less water per year from rainfall. Even though we have these sporadic events because of climate change, generally they have less water than the Cayo district, than Belize district, and certainly less than the southern 2 districts. So they also use water for agricultural purposes. That's where the sugarcane industry is. But Orange Walk Corozal also produce a lot of fruits, vegetables, and agricultural crops. So there is a need for water for agriculture, for human use, for industry.
For context, energy is needed to pump water to your homes, and so, as recently experienced during Hurricane Lisa, shortly after power was interrupted, water was also lost. It's about becoming energy efficient and ensure water and food security.
What happens to the Cayo district when we have a flooding event? We have several villages that are located along the Belize River, and they go for 6 weeks, 2 months at a time without being able to access potable drinking water because these villages get water directly from the river or sometimes from wells that are close to the river, but they're also contaminated, it's dirty. How can we look at reducing the energy cost for supplying this water? Well, we have to start to look at renewable energy sources. Solar, we have a lot of sunshine. We have 9-10 months of the year where we can surely harvest a lot of energy from the sun. So that's one area that we'll have to invest in.
Minister Christopher Koyi and the NDA, and as well as the ministry responsible for climate change, has already approached the 5 Cs on working on a project in San Pedro and Bergrisky that will look at how we can use wastewater, reuse it and recycle it for use on the island to decrease the demand on potable water on the island. So in addition to that, we've also agreed that we'll be working on $100 million investment into 50 million tranches to help to build the resilience of all of these municipalities to the effects of climate change.
And so networking continues as the Belize delegation forges partnerships in an effort to ensure that Belize is resilient against the impacts of climate change. Reporting for COP27 from Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt, I am Dwayne Moody for News 5.
For some time now, the government of Belize has been the beneficiary of a climate finance advisor in the person of Ranga Palawala. Palawala took up office in Belize through support from the Commonwealth Climate Finance Access Hub that seeks to provide Commonwealth member countries with in-country expertise. Now, the support is not permanent, and so the program also assists in building the capacity of the people in country to design projects that will meet the requirements to access climate financing. During a side event at COP27, the success of the Access Hub was discussed.
We will then deploy the Commonwealth National Climate Finance Advisors in country, embedded in the ministries, to provide technical assistance in project development, where they actually focus on designing the projects themselves, bankable projects that are compliant with the requirements of the International Climate Fund mechanisms, so that they improve their bankability, so that for them to be approved by those finance institutions. So in that support, in providing that support, we do make sure that we develop investment-ready projects for the country, for the countries through our National Climate Finance Advisor. But coupled to that, we also do capacity building, human and institutional capacity building, where we support the government to be able to set up the structures that are required for climate finance investments through whatever the structures that are needed to set up the mechanisms, whether it's the committees or the institutions that are needed to be able to facilitate that investment. But pursuant to that, also we appreciate that there is the human element to it, where we need to strongly build capacity for the people in country to be able to design this.
We have benefited in numerous ways, mostly from the capacity building component at this point. We know some of the core issues as it relates to getting access to bankable projects. We always talk that, a lot of climate funding or funding to combat the impacts of climate change is out there, but it's just accessing it. So how we've benefited so far, initially we looked at a debt for nature swap. We did some theoretical work on that. But the more pertinent one is a capacity building exercise that the Commonwealth, through our National Climate Finance Advisor, has provided. Right? It is important for participants who participated in this write-up to get a better understanding. It's not only looking at the writing aspect, but what is climate change? What does climate change mean for their respective sector? And then having that level of awareness, they can then translate that to what we all know as a bankable or a scalable project for actual implementation on the ground.
Just ahead, dredging concerns allayed. Port Loyola residents need jobs.
How are we to measure the success of our lives? For many, an ordinary life should have the following: a job, a house, enough money to buy a new car. But what if we threw out the ordinary? What could escaping ordinary at our jobs do? How about for our marriages? What if I told you we could all be escaping ordinary? Join us as we begin our new series.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benque Viejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
In 2018, I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was a size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney. So I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25. And then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back, she checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters. And I went back for the next 10 days, and after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. You will take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we. Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
The approval of an environmental and social impact assessment for the proposed expansion of the Port of Belize Limited, which will include a cruise terminal in Port Loyola, is now in the hands of the National Environmental Appraisal Committee, NEAC, following a final round of public consultations on Friday in Belize City. Tonight, we'll revisit the concerns that were raised by the public, as well as the economic benefits of having a shoreside birthing facility in Belize City. News 5's Isani Cayetano reports.
Approval for another cruise ship docking facility to be constructed in the Belize District Harbour has been a long drawn-out process for the principals of Port of Belize Limited. The addition of a marine terminal is part of a comprehensive plan to modernize existing services being offered by the company. To put it into context, agreements between parties or states that aim to keep trade deficits to a minimum often require upgrading basic public services.
Almost all of these bilateral agreements have things to do with improving infrastructure, and at the heart of that is upgrading port facilities. And so it follows that the developer, the Waterloo, has an obligation. It's not just that they feel like doing it, but they have an obligation to developing this infrastructure. And that is what they want to do. And they want to develop it with a long-term view in mind. And therefore, they want to create for this country a very modern, progressive facility that is future-proofed and that will take us on along the road of development for the next 50 or so years.
Should the project be given the green light, massive dredging will occur just off the southern coast of Belize City in Port Loyola. Removing material from the seabed has remained a primary concern for residents as well as environmentalists who have raised relevant questions at previous public consultations. Alan Herrera, an environmental consultant working on the project, explains.
In the area of Port of Belize, this is not the first dredging operation. I need to remind people, one dredging operation took place in 2002. And it's not only at the Port of Belize, dredging have taken place at the mouth of the Halova Creek. Dredging has taken place at the mouth of the Belize River. So Belize City is used to dredging. Dredging has taken place in this area many times. Okay? And again, the heart of it is that the developer simply wants to deepen and widen the access channel and the turning basin. And he doesn't want to do any dredging because he just wants to do dredging. He does it because it's a core necessity of this project, in the sense that we want to be able to receive vessels that are more modern and these vessels that are larger.
Among the questions asked following the presentation is the availability of jobs for residents in the community.
After this port is built, half the people in this room, or 1/3 of the people in this room, won't actually be employed in that port. And I could guarantee you that. Because if you go right now to the 4th Street Tourist Village, right, there's a port there. Majestic Alley is right in front of it. How many of them are employed inside of the port?
At a previous public consultation held on September 1st, representatives of Waterloo had indicated that priority would be given to residents of Port Loyola where employment opportunities are concerned. Jel Prince, the project lead for this proposed development, supports that position.
When it comes to jobs, if you have an island destination, if you will, not a lot of employment is necessarily generated on that destination. But when you have shoreside berthing in a community where people need jobs, people need higher wages, people need socioeconomic benefits, what you often find is not only that do those cruise passengers disembark at higher percentages, they also spend more time on shore and they spend more money in the community. So the unique value proposition of this project is that we do indeed bring a lot of jobs to the community because we bring the passengers to that community.
When all is said and done, for residents of Port Loyola and, by extension, Belize City, employment and economic opportunities remain their primary concern.
My thing is, I just may come on, I really want to ask a question to more the government or the environment or maybe even these guys, because a lot of them right here are against it, the port, right? But honestly, I mean, like where the guys they say, you don't think the port bring revenue, say people, none of them live back a port, none of them know where the port people go through. You understand? Things like this create job for people basically, and creating job for people that benefit the people and their kids. I bet none of no kids go to school where part of people picnic they go to school. When you talk about the hurricane, I bring this hurricane, I bring that, a lot of people don't have house right now. You understand? I sure all on a house good. You understand why the people can't live the way they want to live? Make them make their money. You understand? We can't stop the people from doing that. Nobody else want to create job back at port. Nobody want to invest money back at port. They people invest their money back at port. Left them make them invest their money. Create jobs for people. Thanks.
Reporting for News 5, I am Miscellaneous Cayetano.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5police.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.